See, even doing it almost randomly, it made it sound pretty good. And all I did was make sure that What's good, YouTube? This is Al B back with another video. Today, I'm going to be showing you guys how to make easy 808 patterns in FL Studio. Just going to show you a couple of easy steps to pretty much make sure you always get a good 808 pattern inside of your beat. And yeah, it's pretty foolproof if you follow the steps, just a couple of them. And I'm going to show you a rarely known little trick inside of FL Studio that's going to help even more. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button so I can keep bringing you guys this content. Without further ado, this is Al B. Let's get into it. Yes, sir. All right, guys, so the first thing you need to do to make a good 808 pattern is to pick a good 808, right? Duh. So let's grab a basic 808 and I'm gonna drag it over into a channel. And now I have my basic 808 that I'm gonna be using here. The next thing you're gonna wanna do is come to the channel here and you're gonna wanna right click it and go down to edit in audio editor, or you can just hit Control E on your keyboard. That's gonna open up the sample inside of Edison. Right click inside of Edison on the wave, go down to regions, then go down to detect pitch regions and click there. Now, this is going to highlight the notes Edison is picking up inside of the sample. In this case, you see two different notes. So which key is the sample actually in, or which note is the 808 in? It's actually going to be C. It's going to be the tail end of it. So in this case, we see B and we see C. B is just the initial attack of the 808 and when it initially hits, but C is the actual note that plays out whenever if you were to hold the 808, or just whenever the 808 sample plays out, it plays in the note of C. And so C is pretty much the note of this 808. So we're going to say this is in the key of C, or, it's C. So then you come back to your channel and you make sure your channel is rooted in C by right clicking on it. Now, if Edison had showed me that my 808 was in the key of E, then I would have right clicked on E to tune the channel to the key of E. So here you just need to tune the channel to whatever the key was that you found in Edison. So now the channel matches the 808. And when you go to play the 808 at different pitches and at different keys, it's going to sit properly inside of your song as long as you play it in scale, which we're going to talk about next. So the first thing you want to do is make sure that your channel is set to the same key that your 808 is. Another thing that's important in the channel settings is to come here in the miscellaneous functions by clicking the wrench icon. Come down to the group section and click cut self. This will keep the 808s from overlapping, and anytime you play a second 808 while one 808 is playing, it will cut off the first 808, and that way your mix doesn't start getting really muddy, and it'll keep the mix clean and keep the 808s nice and separated and from kind of getting on top of each other. Okay, now that we have our 808 tuned and we have the channel set up properly, the next thing you want to do is go to the piano roll of your 808. Once you have the piano roll open in the top left, and this is going to be a little known secret, right? Like a lot of people don't know how to do this, but you're going to hit the drop down, go to helpers, go to scale highlighting. This will actually highlight your scale in the piano roll so you can easily keep your 808 in key for the song. So in my case, I know my song is in G minor, so I'm going to go to G. It's already set to be in the scale of minor. I just have to set my root note. So I'm going to click on G. And now I have it set so that the piano roll will show me my notes that are in G minor. And so my notes that are in the G minor scale are all shown to be kind of gray inside of the piano roll, right? So all of the gray notes. Not the dark ones. So you want to skip the dark notes. These grayed out notes. And yours will look different depending on how you have your grid color set. But basically the lighter notes are the ones that are in the key of G in my case. So this is an easy way to make sure the 808 stays in key. Turn on scale highlighting. So now what we're going to do is, now that we've picked our 808, we've made sure the channel was set properly. We made sure the 808 was in key. And now we also have our scale highlighted in the piano roll. The next thing we're going to want to do is actually make an 808 pattern. So let me go back to my piano roll again. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the beat that I already have made that I'm just looking to add my 808 into. For me, I always like to do most of my beat and especially my drums before I go add in the 808, because I feel like the 808 really glues it, and I know kind of a better placement for my 808. And so let's just hear what the beat sounds like right now without the 808 in there at all. All right, so that's what it sounds like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put an 808 pattern right here, a blank pattern in the bottom of the playlist. And this way I can kind of make my 808 to the beat. So I'm going to let the beat play while I come paint in 808. So I already know it should be in G. Okay. So right now, all I'm doing is I'm just finding where the kick is hitting, and I'm putting my 808 right there in the key that the song is in the root note of G. One thing to note is that in my example, I am actually using a drum loop. And so I have to actually go find out where my drum hits are and match those. But if you actually made your own kick drum in your example, then you would just copy your MIDI notes into the piano roll for the 808. And that way you would already have your 808 hitting everywhere that your kick was hitting. All right. So that should be the 808 on every kick drum. Let's see. I think that sounds pretty good, right? Already sounded pretty good. The next thing you do is, let me maximize the piano roll. Just hit Control A to highlight all of them, and then Control L to lengthen them all out. And this just makes sure the full 808 gets played and everything is kind of filled in, and just kind of how I like to have it done. The next thing I'm going to do is start playing with the actual pitch of the 808s. Like this one can go up right here. Right. What about this? I'm gonna leave it like that for now. This might sound horrible, by the way. All I'm doing is trying some random notes at this point. I usually do it more methodically, but just for the sake of the video, I'm just doing it kind of randomly here. See, even doing it almost randomly, it made it sound pretty good. And all I did was make sure that my notes stayed in the key by just sticking to the highlighted notes that are like the lighter notes in the piano roll, because I have on scale highlighting. I made sure the 808 was in key with the key of my sample. I made it ride with my kick drum. And so it's sitting pretty good. That's the 808 pattern, man. It's really that simple. Hey, hey, hey. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, so I can keep bringing out this dope content. And don't front, it was dope. Until next time, this is Al B, and we are out. Yes, sir.